Okay, so this is Chester now. This is the Cross, which is the very epicentre of Chester, incredibly busy area. Doesn't look too busy at the moment, but it's quite early. But later on when we start working, it's going to be a mass of people, which obviously throws up lots of challenges as an urban sketcher, because you're going to get lots of members of the public coming along, wanting to talk to you, wanting to see what you do and asking you lots and lots of questions. And that's the fun part of it. You know, that's what makes it such an incredible experience, being outside. So this fantastic structure that you can see here, which is the Cross, that's going to be my starting point. So the first thing I'm planning on doing now is getting that painted in. I'm going to smash that first of all. That's going to be the centerpiece, and then I'm going to pan outwards. So I'm going to work my way across, do some of the stairs, some of that incredible building on the side with all the lovely brickwork and the sign of the cross and the windows, and then moving back to the other side, some of those fantastic shots that you can see of some of the buildings looking down Bridge Street. We'll get some of those in as well. Obviously we're going to get loads of people in our way, but that's not a problem. You kind of avoid the people, you work around the people, you accept the fact that the people are going to come up and they're going to be talking to you. But the most important thing is you sit there, you look, you observe, you record, you have fun, and you just create a record of looking and just observing everything that you can see in this kind of wonderful space. So that is the plan for today. So now there's a guy standing right in front of me, which is fine, and it happens all the time. So all you have to do is kind of draw around them. And that's the lovely thing about urban sketching, because your field of vision is so wide. You're not looking at one particular spot, so you're not like focused on like a photograph, you're looking all around. So my field of vision goes from over there to over there. So the lovely thing is if people come up and they do start talking to you, or like ignoring you but just standing in front of you, you can kind of just look around them, which is fine. And it just forces you to keep looking at the whole scene all the time, which is just great. That was so good. The first thing I'm going to do, because I'm just kind of like bombarded with all this kind of really complicated visual imagery, I'm just going to try and simplify things a little bit. So basically with my finger, I'm just going to kind of mark out some of the basic shapes. So down this side here, we've got the side of the wall with the cross on. And then we've got the pavement going across here. We've got that amazing kind of monument here. And then we've got the top part of Watergate Street here. So we've basically got this really kind of simple structure going on. So here we go. I'm going to start this one off with pen. This is a Uniball pen. So here we go. Top of the building. All the way down here. Get this shape in. So really just seeing simple shapes at this stage. So as you're drawing, you find lots and lots of people come along and start kind of standing in front of you, which is absolutely fine. You don't mind that, because they've got every right to be here. And that's just part of the magic of urban sketching, that you do get lots and lots of people coming around, watching what you're doing, and just genuinely really interested in what's going on. And you've got to kind of work around people, really. I don't mean literally work around them, but kind of look around them. Almost imagine they're not there. Whereas some artists, urban sketchers, they're very much about people on location. And they draw people, and it's a big, big part of what they do. Whereas for me, it's not. Now I want to do the cross, which is here, and I can't because there's a lady and she's just moved now. So we are in business. Before you know it, you kind of get distracted by something else. And your eye is just kind of wandering all over, which I absolutely find fascinating, because you don't quite know where your eye is going to take you. And that's just the beauty of looking. And that's a very kind of human instinct, I think, that when we do look at something, you know, we don't fix our eye in one particular spot. We just keep looking around all the time. And this is just drawing heaven. There's loads of people floating around. Most of them are completely ignoring me. They've probably seen it all before. They're probably thinking, oh no, not another urban sketcher. The world is full of urban sketches at the moment. They seem to be everywhere. So I've just moved on to a slightly thinner pen now. This is a Staedtler, and it's a 0.4, just a little bit thinner. And you know, you will get people that will come up and they'll watch and they'll ask you questions and they'll want to know what you're doing and they want to know why you're doing it as well. And if they see something that they like to do themselves, then that's the most fantastic thing, because you've really inspired them. You know, I know so many people that come up to me and say, oh, I'd love to do art, but I wasn't very good at school, or my teacher told me it was rubbish, and you know, they've just had the confidence kind of knocked out of them. And if they see you drawing on location and you've inspired them, well, it's just like a lovely, lovely thing that you've done. And you know, your work doesn't have to be to any great standard. It's just the fact that you're there and you're looking and you're observing and you're recording, and hopefully you've got a huge big smile on your face. I mean, if you're doing it and you're looking dead miserable, then obviously it's probably not going to inspire them quite as much. I just need that busker to move out the way, and then I'm kind of flying here. And there's a van as well, there's a van parked in front of those arches. Architectural details are just amazing to draw, because they just throw up so many really interesting shapes. And I think one of the things I try and do as an artist, as an urban sketcher, is I try and simplify them and almost like summarize them as well. So you're kind of turning them into sort of simple shapes. So we'll go back to this slightly thicker pen now, just to get a little bit more architectural detail in here. These old black and white buildings, which Chester is full of, are just drawing heaven. So cool. Oh wow, the buskers started. I know this. This is from Les Mis. I love this song. Oh, this is just amazing. Hope you can hear the music, guys. It is just fantastic. How lovely is this music? This is so lovely. So now I'm going to do a little bit of brush pen work. So we'll get some of these out and we'll just add a little bit of tone to the picture. Oh, that was so nice. See, no one's clapping for me while I'm drawing.
Ian.
I've only just started. So what we've done so far is we've established the composition with some line work and we've added a little bit of tone. So now, this is where the magic starts. This is where I start painting, and it's like, where do I begin? Where do I start? Do I bother with the local colour, which is like the real colour? Or do I go for something a bit more like expressive, dramatic? So I'm going to kind of go for brown, but lots of different browns, because basically everything in front of me is brown or black or white. So I'm going to go for brown. I'm going to go for kind of burnt siennas and raw umbers and that kind of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get that cross sorted out, because that's a bit of a focal point. So here we go, with this lovely, lovely wash on here. Oh, Phantom of the Opera's just started. I went to see this in London last month. It is so good. It's playing all my favourite songs here. Okay, so I don't want to do too much painting on this one really, because the drawing, the line work is such a big feature of it, because the architecture is so strong and powerful. that you can kind of overdo it a little bit with the painting, so that might be enough on that. So now we'll go in with a nice kind of Prussian blue, just to create some depth around here. Again, got to be really careful, you don't want to kind of overdo things too much. And try and leave lots of white on this as well. I'll go with a little bit of cerulean here, which is a bit colder, just to get a nice little bit of depth going on there, which is good, and I feel a splash coming on. It's probably enough of that. And then we've got this building over on the right hand side, so we'll get this in. In terms of colours, so what we're looking at here is we've got some obviously warm colours to depict the cross and also to depict the buildings, but we've got some cold colours going on here as well, just to create this sense of depth just beyond this building here, which is quite cool, which I quite like. I'm kind of enjoying that. So that's a very little amount of painting on this one really, and I think that's probably enough, because you can overdo it. So I'm being very mindful of allowing the picture to kind of go on its own sort of journey really, you know, not forcing things. So if you feel like you've got it, then you kind of leave it, you don't overdo it. So obviously when you're drawing on location, if you put paint on, you have to wait for the paint to dry, which is not the most exciting thing to do. So sometimes you're tempted to carry on working while the paint's still wet. So this picture here, I put the watercolour wash on about 10 minutes ago. It's not quite dry yet, but I'm going to carry on working because I'm just so impatient, because the view is just awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on working, but I'm going to try and avoid the painted areas. So I'm going to start off with the brush pen again, just to tweak a little bit of tone, but also as you're working you've got to be very, very careful that obviously your hand doesn't go across the paint and you're not kind of smudging things that you've already put down. So it's almost like a little bit of a game where you've got to kind of work around the bits that you've already painted to avoid them, and they will be dry in about 5 minutes, so it's not too much of an issue. But if you forget about it, you then look at your picture and you think, oops, I've got a little bit of a smudge there, which kind of can spoil things for you a little bit. So I'm just very conscious that this building here on the right hand side is still a little bit damp, so I'm just being very careful with my hand as I'm working across, and it's so easy to forget because you just get really engrossed in what you're doing. This song's in Mr. Bean's Holiday. He dances to it, Rowan Atkinson. It's just the most brilliant scene. So shout out for Mr. Bean's Holiday there. That's it, that's exactly what he does. So these pens are great. This is quite a thick one, and it's great just for marking little window shapes really, really quickly, because obviously there's such an abundance of visual imagery going on. When you have a really complex scene like this particular view looking down Watergate Street and the cross in Chester, you need a process to help you break it all down. And I just find the fine liner pens, you know, working on top of big broad shapes. So just drawing some of the detail now on top of this building, this kind of domineering building on the right hand side of Watergate Street, because I've established the wash, I've established the shape through the wash of colour. And that is a process, it's a process I work through. And it works for me, because, you know, I do choose quite busy, complex scenes. But you've got to make sure the paint's dry, otherwise it's going to clog up your pen. So obviously this wash was put down some time earlier, it's all nice and dry now, and it just allows me, it affords me that opportunity to then start describing all the bricks. So I start off with the horizontal lines, and then when they're in place I'll start popping all the little, pinging all the little verticals inside. I love brickwork patterns. Brickwork patterns are just amazing to do. So it just adds really interesting visual detail and shape and texture to your pictures. They're just great. obviously when you're an urban sketcher and you're sketching buildings, bricks do tend to pop up quite a bit. So this is just the first kind of layering of brick. I'll come back to these later and change the tone of some of them, do some cross-hatching inside them. When you're urban sketching, you're obviously leaving the studio behind, because the world, the outside space, is your studio. And in that outside space, there's lots of guests, and some of those guests are invited guests, people that you would like to have around you, and sometimes you get a few guests that perhaps you wouldn't want around you, and there's nothing you're going to do about that. But a lot of people will notice you, perhaps people who've got maybe a little bit more time on their hands. I mean, if there's people perhaps who work in the city and they're on their lunch break and they're milling around and taking everything in, they will see what you're doing, and you can guarantee that a lot of them will come up and they'll want to talk to you, and they'll want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and are you going to sell it? If you're going to sell it, how much is it going to cost? And where'd you buy them from? And can I buy it? Can I have it? you tell them how much it costs and they run away. So I've just noticed the town crier's turned up, and he's going to be standing at the steps of the cross and obviously doing his stuff, which is like town crier stuff, which goes back like hundreds and hundreds of years. So I know he's going to be there. There's lots of tourists are going to turn up, so I'm like desperately trying now to draw as much of the bottom of the step and the pavement area as I can, because I know in a few minutes time it's going to be kind of completely rammed with people and I'm just not going to be able to see anything. So this is something you just have to be mindful of. Your view is going to change all the time as people come and go, and then things like lorries coming and parking and people coming up to you, so you just have to be very, very wary that the view in front of you, the scene, is a live, living, interactive scene, and you are part of that scene. You know, nothing's going to stop for you. You have to embrace that scene and kind of work around it. So that's what I'm doing. So this is just sharpening things up now. Just adding a little bit more depth to some of the lines, just to sharpen a few of the edges, make things a little bit clearer, a little bit tighter, a bit tidier. Because often when I start my pictures, well, often all the time, when I start my pictures, it can be chaos. It's just pure chaos when those washes go down. And the drawing process is just really tidying things up, tightening things up, bringing depth and realism to all the different elements that are going on in a busy urban space like this, which is nice and it's good fun to do. It's all based on observation. You see these things and you record them and you put them in and you just get them to fit in with the general structure of your picture. And some people will come along and they'll stand right in front of you and they'll stare at you, and you kind of think to yourself, I'm sure you know what I'm doing. I'm sure you know that I'm trying to draw the view that's behind you. And they'll stand there and they'll stare at you. And so, of course, you're looking at them. Well, you're not really looking at them, you're looking beyond them, but they don't know that. They think you're looking at them. Anyway, this goes on for a few minutes. And I'm not saying anything, I'm just drawing. And they're standing there. And I wouldn't say they're blocking my view, because I'm quite good at drawing behind people or around people. Anyway, it goes on. And you're thinking, right, who's going to speak first? Am I going to say, get out of my way, I'm an artist? Or are they going to speak first? And eventually the silence broken and they turn to you and they say, what are you doing? But this is going well. I'm enjoying this. It's good fun. It's busy, lots of things going on, quite complicated, but it's going okay. I do like the angle though. I think it's a great angle, this, how it just recedes down Watergate Street and it sort of disappears behind that building on the right. I just like how it all flows together. And of course the cross, the little monument structure, is really important because it holds it in. So I've been working on this now for probably well over an hour. And in terms of this journey of looking, you know, I'm really starting to see lots and lots of things that I didn't see at the beginning. Once you've kind of established all the big shapes and the composition, you can really then start looking into what is there in terms of all the little bits of detail. So I'm now starting to see all the patterns in the brickwork and all the signs that are sticking out and all the signs on the shops, and there's just such a lot of kind of amazing visual imagery that you just don't see straight away. It takes you a while to actually start picking up on these things. So I'm just starting to hammer all of those things now into the picture, which is just great fun, because it's almost like you start like surprising yourself. You look up and you see something different, and it really is very much a journey of looking, and it's just great fun because you're seeing more and more things all the time. The more you look, the more you see, and the more you understand. We all work in different ways, and we all see the world around us in different kind of ways, and that's what I think makes creativity and art just so fascinating and interesting, that we all have a different take on things. And I just think that's an amazing thing to do, to be able to express yourself and make what you record different from other people's. And I just think that's a wonderful thing to do, because you could take 10 artists and you could sit them all down on the same spot, and you can give them all exactly the same materials, the paints, the brush pens, the fine liners, same size paper, same amount of time, say 2 hours, and ask them to draw this scene, and every one would be completely different. And I think there's something really fascinating about that. When you're doing a drawing of the cross in Chester, which is really busy, but it's also got an excessive amount of detail, you need to use the white spaces in your paper. You need to get those white spaces working for you. So this isn't quite finished yet, but it's getting there. So you've got this real excessive amount of detail that's going on in the picture, especially around here. Now they only work because there's lots and lots of white gaps. So you've got the sky. The sky's really important. It's negative space, it's white space. And what the sky does, it allows other parts of the picture to breathe, but also to tell their story. So each part of the picture is telling a story. And these little bits here, they can't tell their story if they're being cluttered by bits around here and here. So how you balance your picture, how you compose it, and you leave white gaps around the outside are really, really important. And that's one of the trickiest things, I think, in urban sketching. Well, in any type of drawing, it's knowing where to leave gaps, and it's knowing where to kind of really excessively hammer the detail. So I've kind of finished most of the drawing on this now. Tonally it's all kind of working, the shapes are working, the patterns, the textures. So I feel like with the music and the sunshine and everything, it's all a bit too good to be true, so I think I'm going to wreck it now. So the idea is I'm going to put some more paint on. So this is like real make or break time. No, it's not, it's okay. I'm just going to put more paint on because I just feel like it needs a little bit of colour at the end. And we'll see where this takes us. So we're not really adding colour anywhere different from where we put it in the first place, but we're just kind of going over some of the parts again, just to make them a little bit sharper, a little bit stronger. Just add a bit more oomph to the whole thing. A few splashes, because you can't beat splashes. So what splashes do is they just liven the page, they animate the page. And that is finished.